Hey folks, my guest today is Pavel Dolizal. He's building a very cool company called Kabula. He helps companies utilize data to grow their profits faster. Pavel, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, Nathan, I am. Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me.
So is Kabula, that's Keboola, guys, if you want to follow along. Is this for marketers or developers?
Well, it's actually for developers. It's for, people that today would be called data engineers or analytical engineers.
Mm-hmm. And where'd you get the idea?
Well, it's actually, it's kind of like scratching our own knee, so the company was actually founded over 10 years ago. It was founded by Peter Šimeček, and it was a developer shop, helping companies to migrate to cloud. And they noticed over time, everybody wanted the same things regarding data to integrate, to warehouse, to transform that. And they just didn't want to do it again and again, doing the DevOps script. So they started to build an, internal tool for automations. That was about 2015 when I met them. And I was like, guys, this internal tool, we should build a product company around it. So we got together, we actually rebranded Kabula as a product company. It started to be like the name. So we kept it and we've been going on since.
And how big was the agency in 2015? What was agency revenue that year?
It was actually, I don't really know, but I remember, but it was like really small. It was like 5-6 people. So,
Yep, got it.
I can dig it out. It was like 400K or something.
So what happened though? Did you buy the technology from them, or are they still on the cap table, or what?
No. We actually, it was back then. It was two owners. It was Milan Veverka and Peter Šimeček, and I joined as kind of like the third co-owner, and we founded the product part of the company. So we got rid of slowly the the revenue, service revenue, which was and started just focusing on the platform revenue.
I see. And when you joined, did they give you did you split it evenly, a third, a third, a third?
Yeah, it was actually hard. I had to work for my share for 3 years. So it was not, it was actually how we like it. It was real and it was really open. And we're like, yeah, we would really love you to be our partner and, be co-founder of this. But hey, you're new, we don't know you. So are you okay if you, earn your share, over the period of 3 years? I was like, I like it. Okay. I love it. It's just how it should be.
So how much do you own today?
Oh, we all three of us have a split, 30%, 1/3. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. So you own 30%. That's great. And then let's talk about how customers are using you. So how many customers are paying today for the tool?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's actually interesting. Like last year, it was like around 115, 124 actually last year, and this year we actually already added over 50 new customers. So because we started a little bit different motion, we started product-led motion this year. So because before this year, you couldn't buy Kabula, on the internet. We were just growing by referrals and contracts.
So Pavel, just to be clear, you have about 175 customers today, up
Yes.
from 124 a year ago.
Yeah. And as a customer, we define somebody who's paying, not somebody who's using us for free, but who's paying.
And about how much do they pay per month on average?
Well, it actually, we split the customers into enterprise. Then we have SMBs. And in the SMBs, we also have growing, startups. And then we have the pay-as-you-go model, which is the product-led, and that's just starting. So all those 50 average around 3,000 ARR. And then the SMBs, they would kind of be somewhere between 50,000 to 250,000. And then we have a couple of enterprises, and they are 350 north in ARR, not counting the services.
Sorry, I'm confused. So add it all up. How much MRR did you guys do last month?
Last month, we are now actually doing 4.9 ARR, on annualized basis. So divided by 12, it's kind of like something like 440 or something like that.
Yep, 420, 430. Okay, very interesting. And which segment is growing the fastest? Pay as you go, SMB, or enterprise?
Well, it's actually for us now. It's the enterprise and it's the pay as you go, and that's just we started to concentrate on pay as you go, and that was really interesting because during the COVID, everybody told us you should actually open up the product-led pay as you go motion, and we were like, okay, we don't have time for it, but then we did, and in the first 6 months we got 900 projects started, and in July we got 260 projects started.
So how do people pay as they go? Is it based off number of minutes in the system, or no? I know it's credit card, but what's the utility value?
Yeah, it's the number of minutes that the platform actually runs their jobs. So, either you extract the data, whether you warehouse the data, whether you run the pipelines and, like all the way from extraction transformation to actually reverse ETL, it actually uses some compute time, which creates a job. So by number of minutes.
Number of minutes per month. Interesting. Okay, got it. So that makes a lot of sense. What's the team size look like today? How many people?
Well, actually, 2 months ago, we were 48 people. Well, since then, we started to actually hire more and more people in sales and marketing, which we didn't have before. So as of current, we are 56 people.
And how many in sales?
Well, that's actually a funny story. Last December, we had one person in sales. Then we hired 3 people into sales in first half of this year. And as of today, we actually have 10 people as of August.
And how many of those 10 carry a quota?
All of them. But they are all new, so they have to start.
How do you set the quota for new reps?
Mm-hmm. That's actually we hired a guy to run the inside sales, and his name is Pavel, and he actually came to us with the methodology and how to actually do it. And so it's based on both outbound and inbound, like levels. So he actually set the first levels in the first half of this year. Finding out the process, how many outbound, calls he can actually do, set up the demos. And based on that, he set up the process for his reps that he is just hiring as of now.
So what's the name of the person you hired? Sorry.
Paul Donaki.
Paul Donaki. And where was he from?
He's actually originally from Scotland, and he moved to Prague several years ago.
What company did he come from?
Oh, he came from Computer Associates, and then he was working for Runecast, which is another SaaS startup.
Got it. So he's like your VP of sales, and he's now hiring new reps.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. Okay, so you're not, but you don't have them on a quota yet. You're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Why did you hire 10 right off the bat? Why not experiment 2 or 3?
We actually did experiment. So all 10 are not in inside sales. So there are some people in enterprise sales as well. But we actually hired first. We actually hired for the first Paul. Then we hired the second rep. We saw how they were ramping up, and how it worked together with the pay-as-you-go model. So like upselling and doing outbound as well. And when after first 2 months, actually both of them were doing like the numbers of outbound and the contacts progressed to high pipeline, then we actually said, well, there is no time to wait, and we should really start scaling this, faster than we were previously. Because until last year, we pretty much didn't have sales. We were experimenting. Like now, once here we would have one person. We have 2 people in Chicago, or then 3 people for some time. But we were just experimenting with it. But and most
Paul,
of our
what did that growth look like? You're at $420,000 a month today in revenue. Where were you a year ago?
A year ago, we were in 2020 we actually ended 4.7. 2019 we actually ended 4.1, and 2018 we actually ended 2.4. So we were.
Pavel, you were what?
Sorry, I said that we were growing. Like 2018, 2019, we were growing about 60%. But then the COVID year, we got some people actually, like a little bit down. There was some COVID effect, especially in the hospitality and the enterprise. And then, we started to grow again.
Yep. Okay, got it. So 4.9 now, 4.7 a year ago, 4.1 before that, 2.4 million in 2018. And that's all up from an agency that was doing 400 grand in sales in 2015.
Yep, exactly.
Did you guys bootstrap this or raise capital?
No, it's all bootstrap until now. Yeah.
We love that. Nice work, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a team. Yeah.
What's the toughest thing about bootstrapping something like this?
For us, it was actually a choice, when we started, because we saw that that we were a little bit ahead of the market. So we're like, hey, we actually need to experiment with this. We need to see how to do it. And we had customers who paid us. So we were creating a mini brand, in the Central and Eastern Europe, and customers were totally happy. The toughest thing with that is, but I think it's actually an advantage, especially in the beginning. You have to really juggle your resources, right? So you can't do 5 different, experiments. But to be honest, when you are small, you cannot do 5 different experiments because your organization is not really set up for it. If you do 5, you cannot really devote attention to it. So you have to be very precise and very diligent in what you select to do.
No, it makes sense. And obviously your engineering team is a limited resource, right? You can only build so many products so fast. How many engineers do you have today?
We have 28 engineers and plus 400 actually engineers in our marketplace, because we set up from the beginning as a platform. So we are not building, the connectors to data or actually writers to systems. And most of that is built by community. So there's actually 1,400 apps in our marketplace, which was created by 400 different developers. And that's, the communities part we actually love a lot.
How did you convince 400 engineers to build 1,400 apps in your marketplace? Like, how do they make money? Why is it worth their time?
Well, they actually there are two reasons. First, like I would say, like a lot of them are from our partners who are actually doing implementation of Kibula and stuff. And sometimes they would need something, and they would just like, and it's our philosophy, like you shouldn't wait for us, right, to put it on the roadmap. We do the core system, the platform. So when they wanted something like special connector to Teradata, which they didn't like our default, so they would create that for their customers, right, and open source it. And then the second part, which actually is really interesting, people inside the companies actually create their own applications for internal use. So that's how they productize the data, because we see that data is not analytics only. Analytics is kind of like the first step, right? You want to look at the data. But then it's about the actions that you do with the data. How do you write it into the places where you consume data, like CRM, intercom, everything? And how do you automate the use cases like Customer 360 and stuff like that? So once they start doing that, they start actually write data into systems. They actually put that in production and create new apps.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Got it. So it's helping them build their own companies. Maybe they run an agency, Their customers need it, so they build the integration. Yeah. Are they sticky, Pavel, these customers? What's the churn look like?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Like until the last year, we pretty much didn't know, like the churn. So it was actually very, very good. And last year, until last year, we had 8 to 10%. And last year, there was like 21% in the base of customers who either, like went bankrupt or like totally scaled down their businesses or stopped for a bit of the year. Some of them, I would say like 30% actually came back during last year, but some of them went out of the business. If you were a restaurant business in US and you had 15, like locations, COVID year hit you really bad.
Oh, well, you're talking 20% churn last year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have
in the logos? I mean, yeah.
What about the revenue?
Yeah, the revenue was pretty good. We actually expanded, the revenue as well. So net retention rate, in dollars was actually 2019 was 119 and 2020 was 105%. Already now we are in 111%. So like 11% on top this year.
That's great. Yeah. So if you churn 20%, you expand 31%. Yeah. So from a net perspective, you're 111%.
Yeah.
That's really great. How are you getting new customers?
Well, it was until last year, it was mostly referrals. People would, know us, they would use us somewhere, they would go somewhere, they would take us, or they would recommend something. Like we have a customer, Tomáš Trooper, who is like super rock star in, like he built Rohli Group, which is $1 billion company, out of Czech Republic. They do groceries delivery within 2 hours. And it is actually his third venture where he took us, right? So people, take us with them. And during the COVID, we saw, like how the world is changing. So we said, hey, let's accelerate that. Now is the time. We have proven the product. People are happy with us. Now is the time to actually accelerate.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. All right. What's next for the product? Are you planning to stay bootstrapped? Are you planning to raise capital or what?
Well, next for the product, from the product perspective, we are actually coming with some new features for the developers, putting DevOps kind of like pipelines. But from the company perspective, we are actually thinking, what to do next, because like we have cash, for foreseeable months, and we are generating, more and more money. So we'll see how it turns out next 6 months. To be honest, we got approached by a lot of people, but until now we were comfortable with bootstrapping. If we see that we can deploy more capital than we actually have, for market flow operations, we'll think about it. Yeah.
Yep. Of the $420,000 a month recurring revenue that you do, how much goes to the bottom line each month?
Mm-hmm. So we if you say bottom line, you mean like all the expenses, or do you define it? Yeah. Okay. So we actually, until last year, end of last year, we were profitable. And we had like 600,000 profit. And when we started hiring all those new people in June, July, we actually made the decision that we will go within the next 6 months. We will not be profitable and reinvest all of that, because we were hoarding the cash from last year. So as of now, we are minus, but it's something that we made by decision to invest.
Makes a lot of sense, Pavel. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite book?
Well, a part of the, like the normal ones, you would say I actually like Sam Walton's Made in America, or the, book from the guys that made Aldi, because that's really, like people who made the business from the bottom up into large scales.
Number two, is there a founder you're following or studying?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I actually do follow a lot of founders, but lately, the guys from fast.com are really interesting. And I like a lot of new people actually who started things about the Bitcoin. But one of the people who never stops amazing me is Jack Dorsey. From what he's doing, like so many different ideas. I really love it.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building the business?
Yeah, actually, it's the instant messages, I would say, and the data Looker. Until now.
Yep, Looker's good. Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get?
7 to 8. I cannot do less for longer periods of time.
And what's your situation, Pavel? Married, single, kids?
I'm married. I have 3 kids.
3 kids, and how old are you?
They are 10, 12.
No, you.
Oh, me. I'm 45.
45. Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Life goes really fast. Older you get. Just enjoy it every day.
Guys, Kabula launched in 2011. They were an agency that did 400 grand in sales in 2015. Pavel came in and said, guys, there's a product here. Let's launch it. They spun it out in 2015, did 2.4 million in sales in 2018. Now at a $4.9 million run rate, really healthy growth, doing almost 420 grand a month in revenue. Very profitable. 175 customers that pay on average 2 or 3 grand per month for, again, this developer tool to help developers access their data faster and dashboarding. Again, all bootstrapped, 56 on the team, 20 engineers, 10 sales reps. Most of those guys new as they figure out their sales motion. Pavel, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan. Have a great day.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them, and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.